to take down a rival company. My company sent me in as a mole. While there, I severed fiber optics, tripped the circuit breakers, and poured boiling water on their money trees. Thanks to my tireless efforts in sabotage, the rival company suffered mismanagement and successfully went bankrupt. The next day, when I reported back to my original company, I saw the stunning boss who had parachuted in out of nowhere become my direct supervisor. She stood before me with a cold sneer. Surprise, thanks to you. I have to work for a living now. Later, at the executive meeting, I collected my reward and returned to my seat. Chairman White picked up the microphone again and addressed the executives. I want to introduce everyone to the new director of the strategy department, Bianca White. As the words landed, a silhouette I thought I'd never see again appeared in the conference room. I was dumbfounded. The new director is Bianca White? Chairman, does this? As the woman approached, Chairman White wrapped his arm around her shoulder, turned his head, and whispered in a volume only the two of us could hear. Mason, thanks to you, my daughter finally gave up on her startup and agreed to help me run this place. She's your boss now. You two are old friends, so look out for each other. Okay, they're actually father and daughter? Why didn't anyone tell me before? My eyes moved mechanically. The moment I locked eyes with Bianca White, I clearly saw 3 words written in them. You are dead. Meanwhile, 3 words flashed clearly in my brain. I am toast. Bianca and I were indeed old friends. She probably hated my guts. A few months ago, I was just a low-level employee who diligently went to work every day. One day, our chairman suddenly sought me out. He wanted to send me to a small, newly opened company as a corporate saboteur. I was completely confused at the time. Chairman, why choose me? The middle-aged man smiled faintly. Because wherever you go, you're a loose cannon. Instead of plaguing our own troops, you might as well go poison the enemy. Was that a compliment or an insult? I was feeling indignant and about to refuse when he added, if you perform above and beyond and drive her straight to bankruptcy, I'll reward you with a downtown penthouse. Chairman, you truly have a keen eye. Leave it to me. Just like that, the next day I went to Bianca White's company. Interview, hiring, onboarding, all in one go. Position, the janitor. Facts proved that Chairman White really knew how to assign tasks. I had an astonishing talent for workplace toxicity. Less than a month after I joined Bianca's company, the employees started resigning one after another. The reasons were varied. The power would cut just as files were being saved. The underground parking lot was haunted. The toilets would fountain up for no reason. And the coffee machine dispensed beef broth instead of coffee. Gradually, Bianca White became a commander without an army. Her only remaining subordinate was me, a completely useless janitor. Miserable didn't even begin to cover it. Yet, despite all this, she struggled to hold on for a while. Finally, with no other choice, she announced the closure. My mission was perfectly accomplished, and today was my return to report for duty. But what I didn't expect was that Bianca White was also reporting for duty. Damn it, the German. That old fox. If he had told me Bianca's true identity earlier, I wouldn't have taken this job even if you beat me to death. I don't want a downtown penthouse anymore. I just want a rope to hang myself and be done with it. When the meeting ended, I stood up and buried my head, walking out so fast my shoe soles nearly sparked. But despite my speed, I was still blocked. Bianca White stood before me, arms crossed, a cold smirk playing on her lips. I was sweating bullets. Director White, can I help you? Bianca let out a mocking laugh. Changed your tune fast, didn't you? But I don't know what to call you. Is it the janitor, strategy employee Mason, or corporate saboteur Mason? Hearing the sarcasm in her voice, my legs turned to jelly. I habitually played dumb. I don't understand what you're saying. The cool mask on Bianca's face cracked a bit. She stopped obsessing over titles and gritted her teeth. Mason, don't play dumb with me. After a few seconds of stalemate, my tense spine suddenly slumped. I nodded in compromise. I admit it, the corporate sabotage thing was wrong of me. But you can't blame it all on me. The chairman sent me. I was just following orders. I thought this explanation might soothe Bianca's anger a little. Unexpectedly, her expression turned even darker. She suddenly stepped forward, pinning me against the wall. Then the fact that you toyed with my feelings, did my dad order that too? One sentence hit the bullseye. This was the issue I was most afraid Bianca would bring up. The one I tried hardest to avoid. My eyes darted around. A classic sign of a guilty conscience. Seeing me like this, the temperature in Bianca's eyes dropped to absolute zero. She heavily spat out 2 words, con artist. This wasn't the first time someone had crowned me with that title, but it was the only time I felt uncomfortable about it. I wanted to argue, but I didn't know where to start. I could only stand there like an idiot, letting Bianca's knife-like gaze scrape my face raw. Just then, voices came from the other side of the hallway. People were heading this way. I felt like I'd been granted amnesty. I hurriedly pushed Bianca away and feigned professionalism. It's work hours. Let's not discuss personal matters. I have to get to work. I never expected that the unlucky girl I played like a fiddle would transform and return in a blaze of glory as the chairman's daughter and my direct superior. With Bianca's personality, she would definitely go all out to get revenge on me. I have to think of a way to stay far away from her. Mason, you're back, after being away for months. Stepping back into the strategy department felt like a lifetime had passed. Colleagues surrounded me, all talking at once, asking if my business trip went smoothly. My assignment as a mole next to Bianca was confidential. No one in the company knew except me and the chairman. My colleagues just thought I went on a business trip out of town. As for the location, I had casually made one up at the time, West Africa. I collapsed listlessly into my cubicle, shook my head, the lies coming naturally, and said, not smooth at all. The city I went to was incredibly backward. There was constant civil unrest. The crops were always in drought. The buildings were all dilapidated, gunfights in the middle of the night, and you had to watch out for bombs when you stepped outside. I made it sound so real that everyone listened with fear and trembling. Their expressions were priceless. For a moment, the office was filled with exclamations like, oh my God, and that's terrifying. The strategy department isn't full of intrigue like marketing. Most employees here are easygoing and not into scheming. In short, easy to fool. When I finished, they patted my shoulders soothingly. Mason, you suffered. Yeah. Thank God the company didn't send me, or I question if I would have made it back alive. You just rest for a while. We'll help you with any work. I have to admit, the chairman's evaluation of me as a loose cannon wasn't wrong at all. With just a few sentences, I hoodwinked my colleagues to the point where they were practically ready to give me a massage. The trauma in my soul was instantly half-healed, and I secretly felt great. This way, if Bianca wanted to torture me with work, they could help block some of it. However, a new trauma to my soul arrived immediately. Team lead Lewis walked in and raised his voice. Everyone should have heard about the new director coming to the department. Right? The new director doesn't have an assistant yet. The company plans to promote someone directly from within the department. Whoever is willing can sign up. The female employees turned their heads away, clearly uninterested. The male employees looked at each other, none daring to speak up immediately. Although Bianca hadn't shown her face yet, they had heard rumors that she was young and beautiful. Plus, a director's assistant gets a higher salary than a regular employee, and the work is relatively lighter. To say they weren't tempted would be a lie. But at this critical juncture, they put aside courage and salary raises, their brains only recognizing their tragic colleague, Mason, who had suffered and toiled in West Africa for months. After a moment, Frank, who I've always been on good terms with, was the first to react. He glanced at me, who was wishing I could crawl under the desk. With a trace of pity in his eyes, he turned and said firmly to team lead Lewis, let Mason go. He suffered a lot on this business trip. He deserves a cushy assignment. Other colleagues chimed in. Agreed. I have no chaotic objections. But I realized what it means to drop a rock on your own foot. On the way to the director's office with team lead Lewis, I struggled in vain. Team lead, I have no class. I can't handle such a big responsibility. Lewis rolled his eyes at me, spouting nonsense again. Are you? I really have to ask. Director White is young, promising, and talented. The line of guys wanting to be her assistant would stretch to the next county. But here you are, looking like the sky has fallen. Someone who didn't know better would think you dumped her. Good guess. Although Lewis just said it casually, it scared the hell out of me. My hair stood on end immediately. I could only say dryly, you sure know how to joke. I didn't dare say another word. Sighed. Forget it. Debts owed must be paid eventually. Escaping is useless. Resigned to my fate. In the director's office, Bianca was instructing workers on where to place the furniture. Display cabinet against the wall. Move the desk a bit more north. Just like that. Walking in behind Lewis, I immediately recognized where these furnishings came from. They were obviously the ones from Bianca's old CEO office. That solid wood desk still had the massive dent I accidentally knocked into it when I was cleaning. The glass on the display cabinet was chipped too. She didn't throw them away. She actually moved them all here. Director, the assistant the company arranged for you is here. Team lead Lewis announced. The woman's back paused, and she responded in a very official tone. Apologies. I already have a candidate in mind for my assistant. No need to trouble the company to assign one. As Bianca spoke, she turned her head, The moment her gaze met mine, her voice cut off abruptly. There's nothing scarier than sudden silence. After the others left, only Bianca and I remained in the office. She leaned back in her executive chair, arms crossed, sizing me up with interest. If I guessed correctly, you didn't come here voluntarily, did you? I lowered my eyelids and didn't make a sound. Bianca's smile deepened. Did you get hit by karma for lying again? Such strong attack power. I nearly broke down. Isn't this exactly karma? I reckon even Bianca didn't expect that before she could make a move, I would deliver myself to her doorstep. How is this different from walking right into a trap? This is absolutely ridiculous. After enjoying my embarrassment, Bianca withdrew her gaze with satisfaction. Now, let's get down to business. She let out a long sigh and spoke with fake formality. Since it's come to this, I can't let down this fateful arrangement. Go make me a cup of coffee first. Assistant Mason. A new official lights 3 fires to prove their authority, and every single fire was lit right on me. Probably knowing I had already accepted my fate, Bianca didn't hide her abuse of power for personal revenge. That nitpicking face practically had, "I am intentionally making things difficult for you," written on her forehead. Assistant Mason. The coffee is too sweet. Assistant Mason. Too little ice. Assistant Mason. Too much milk. Assistant Mason. Why is there no latte art on top? I don't know about latte art. I only know that in that moment I wanted to smash her head open until it bloomed like art. Not only that, she treated me like a universal handyman, fixing whatever was broken. Assistant Mason. A document was accidentally deleted. Recover it for me. Assistant Mason. Spilled coffee on the keyboard. Clean it up. Assistant Mason. The water pipe in the restroom burst. Go fix it. Assistant Mason. After just a few short hours, I couldn't stand hearing the words, Assistant Mason, anymore. Even a donkey on a production team isn't worked this hard. But the most suffocating part was yet to come. At noon, when I came back from eating at the cafeteria, I found Bianca's office had been completely transformed. Dozens of money trees were arranged neatly on the floor, looking like a lush green forest from a distance. Someone who didn't know better would think this was a plant market. A sense of foreboding rose in my heart. Sure enough, the next second I heard the woman walk in behind me and say breezily, Assistant Mason, I remember you were quite good at raising money trees before. I'll leave these to you to take care of. I shook my head frantically. No. But, I'm not good at it. Bianca didn't seem surprised by my denial. She smiled mischievously. It doesn't matter if you aren't good at it. It's actually very simple. You just need to remember one thing. Don't use boiling water. I knew she was waiting for me there. In Bianca's old office, there was also a money tree. I secretly poured boiling water on it and killed it. First, Bianca didn't know the cause. She thought it was fate, destined that her company wouldn't make money. She even went to the Temple of Wealth specifically to pray about it. But she finally realized who the mastermind was. So, the sins I created, I have to pay for even if it kills me. Director White, I will definitely take good care of them. Dear God, I won't call you Gramps anymore. You clearly don't love this grandson of yours. I made a dozen coffees, watered dozens of money trees, fixed a basket load of things, and ran errands up and down stairs a dozen times. I finally survived until the end of the shift. I thought I could temporarily escape the terror of being dominated by Bianca, but the department colleagues insisted on holding a welcome party for Bianca and forcibly dragged me along. Inside the VIP room, I was arranged to sit in the seat next to Bianca. I felt like I was sitting on pins and needles. Team lead Lewis announced loudly, Today, 2 things happened in the strategy department worth celebrating. 1 is welcoming a beautiful and excellent director. 2 is that our employee Mason has returned safely from his business trip to West Africa. Let's welcome them. Thunderous applause instantly erupted around us. The corner of my mouth twitched. They certainly couldn't imagine that these 2 seemingly unrelated good things actually had a cause and effect relationship. Bianca obviously thought of this too. When she heard the words, West Africa, she let out a scoff through her nose. So when someone asked her later where she worked before, she blurted out, I was a tribal chief in West Africa. The whole room went silent. Director White is so humorous. If there was a chief as beautiful as you, I'd immigrate to West Africa immediately. Agreed. Haha. After a moment, everyone snapped out of it and started laughing, clearly not picking up on any clues. The breath I was holding in my throat slowly released. Damn it. Scared me to death. Luckily these people have nerves thick enough to bridge a canyon. Otherwise, if the fact that Bianca and I are old acquaintances was discovered, I wouldn't know how to spin a lie to cover it up. But in the time that followed, I realized I relaxed too early. During the meal, The atmosphere was lively. Bianca lived up to being a former boss. Her EQ and IQ were both online. In just a few sentences, she increased the employees' goodwill toward her. And things quickly heated up. Director White, do you have a boyfriend currently? A male colleague asked Bianca, seemingly casually. No. Several guys' eyes lit up. Are you focused on your career and have no time to date? Or, Bianca smiled. I got dumped. I'm afraid to date. Bianca's tone was completely flat, as if saying the weather was nice today. But that didn't stop the crowd from being shocked by her words. Eyes widened, looking like they'd seen a ghost. Actually, their reaction was forgivable. The woman in front of them clearly had a face that said, I recruit boyfriends long-term. Not, I don't keep boyfriends long-term. A pair of peach blossom eyes that looked like they were flirting with everyone. Born with a romantic look. Any way you looked at it, she seemed like the one who dumped others, but in fact, she was the one who got dumped. Holy crap, how high was that guy's level? Frank mumbled beside me. I silently lowered my head, wishing I could bury it in my knees. I had never felt so guilty in my life. Admittedly, when Bianca said I played with her feelings and dumped her, she wasn't blowing smoke. Back when I was at her company, to avoid suspicion, I told a lot of lies. For example, when I first started, Bianca asked me, you're so young, why do you want to be a janitor? Me, because I want the place where you are to be spotless. Or when all sorts of bizarre accidents happened and employees were quitting in droves, Bianca asked, why haven't you left? Me, because I couldn't bear to see you fight alone. And later, when the company was tanking and bleeding money, Bianca asked, I might not even be able to make payroll next month. Are you still staying? Me, of course. You matter far more to me than money. I said countless lines like that, cheesy enough to make a romance novelist gag, but devoted enough to make a saint weep. Just like that, poor Bianca was played like a fiddle in the palm of my hand. When her career was falling apart, having someone so sincere by her side made falling for me seem inevitable. She started treating me with zero reservations and trusted me unconditionally. Then, her company collapsed, and then we ended up here. Damn it. What a train wreck. That meal was an emotional roller coaster. I nearly had a heart attack. Finally, the dinner ended, but just as I thought I was free, the crowd, still buzzing, suggested hitting a karaoke lounge. Unsurprisingly, I got dragged along. Inside the VIP room, I sat stiffly on the long sofa, my eardrums filled with the deep, soulful singing of the welcome party star, Director White. She was belting out lyrics about betrayal, being forced to leave, and tears falling after learning the truth. What is this girl doing? Singing this in front of her subordinates? Does she have no dignity? Facts proved she really didn't. After singing a love for sale style anthem, Bianca followed up with songs about calculated schemes and strangers. Finally, she sang one called, The Lightning That Will Strike You Is On Its Way. Her cold voice, paired with overflowing emotion, perfectly expressed a woman's rage, disappointment, and pain after being deceived. I listened with absolute terror, beads of sweat pouring down my face, terrified she'd get too into the song and call me out by name. The female colleagues around me were tearing up, sighing emotionally. Director White is so pitiful. She must have been hurt badly by that guy. Badly doesn't even cover it. She was hurt to the point of locking her heart away. It was definitely a cliff drop breakup. She probably got scammed out of money and love. Anyway, people who toy with sincere hearts should swallow 1,000 needles. Luckily, the guys around us are decent. I sat with my back to them, swallowing every sip of water with great difficulty. Suddenly, the music in the room cut out. My name came through the surround sound speakers. Mason, the woman was calling me. I froze, then slowly turned my head. Bianca White stood in the center of the room. The flickering lights made her expression hard to read. She held the mic to her lips, staring straight at me from a few meters away, like she was brewing a storm. Time seemed to stop. Is the moment finally here? I swallowed nervously, my heartbeat getting faster and faster, until it reached a critical limit. She finally spoke. You dropped something. Holy SHT*, she scared me to death. Bianca White knows exactly how to torture someone with a guilty conscience. After a few rounds of this, my psychological defenses completely collapsed. Hiding in the karaoke lounge bathroom, I clutched my phone and dragged the number labeled, Kissy Monster, out of the blacklist. Trembling, I typed out a text and sent it. Big sis, I was wrong. Please stop messing with me. She replied instantly. Wrong about what? Wrong everywhere. Will you ever block all my contact info and disappear without a word again? No. Will you pretend not to know me again? No. Will you lie to me again? Absolutely not. I thought after reaching this point, Bianca's next step would be to say, But I'll let you off this time. Followed by a happy ending. Instead, after a few seconds of silence, she sent 3 words that nearly made me cough up blood. I don't believe you. For a split second, I felt like the boy who cried wolf. I'd told so many lies that when I finally told the truth, nobody believed me. It's all karma. Before I could figure out how to reply, Bianca sent a picture. It was a navigation map of our city, with a large green circle drawn on it. At the bottom of the picture was a line of text, cycling 60 miles, goal achieved. What does this mean? I was confused. The next second, Bianca gave me the answer. This was the day you dumped me. I drew a period for us on the map. I was speechless. 60 miles? Couldn't you use that bull-like energy for something else? I could even picture it. A woman on the highway, pedaling a bike like a maniac, furiously cycling 60 miles while sad breakup ballads looped in her headphones. Actually, that's kind of fitting. While I was speechless, Bianca sent several more messages. After the ride, I went home and completely let you go. Fast? Right? Actually, you aren't that important. I didn't even shed a tear. I have a great memory, and I will absolutely never be tricked by you a second time. Also, I hold grudges. Smiley face. Anyway, as long as you're under my command, I will take revenge on you every single day. You aren't allowed to resign, and you aren't allowed to disappear. You owe me this. The peace treaty failed, and I got hit with harsh threats instead. My mood was incredibly depressed. I left the bathroom, planning to go back to the VIP room to continue my suffering. Just as I reached a corner, a voice suddenly called out, "Mason? Hiding somewhere to cry secretly? Come on out. Let me have a laugh. That damn Bianca White, actually chasing me out here to mock me." Just as I was hesitating whether to hide again or face her, another voice spoke up. Isn't the CO White? Your company went bust. How do you still have the mood to sing karaoke? I paused. That voice was familiar. I hurried over to look. A middle-aged man reeking of alcohol was blocking Bianca's path. Bianca's face was full of disgust. "Vincent Young, what kind of drunken fit are you throwing? Get lost." The man named Vincent Young continued with a sleazy grin. "I'm just saying, CO White, you aren't so poor you came to the Kate V to be a hostess, are you? How about this? Drink a few cups with me. If you make me happy, maybe I'll invest in you. Isn't this Mr. Young?" I walked over. "Looks like you didn't learn your lesson last time." Vincent turned to look at me, his face instantly changing. He pointed a finger at me. "You really are a loyal lapdog. Your CO White is bankrupt. Why are you still following her? That's none of your concern." I grabbed Bianca, ready to leave, but Vincent suddenly yanked Bianca's arm. She stumbled and nearly fell, bullying Bianca right in front of me. My blood boiled instantly. I shoved Vincent away, and my fist followed immediately, smashing hard into his fat face. He stumbled back 2 steps and fell flat on his back. What followed was my one-sided beatdown. Vincent Young, with a body built on years of booze and excess, didn't have the strength to fight back at all. Bianca stared blankly for a moment, then reacted and rushed to pull me back. "Mason, enough. You're going to kill him." After all, the injuries Vincent got from being beaten a few days ago hadn't even fully healed yet. I was seeing red. I couldn't hear Bianca at all. My eyes were bloodshot, and my fists rained down bang, bang, bang. Vincent's screams of pain drew people from outside, including our colleagues. They froze, then swarmed in, grabbing my arms to pull me away. But I grabbed his collar and wouldn't let go. Finally, seeing that Vincent was gasping for air, Bianca suddenly reached out, cupped my face, and pressed her lips to mine. Several gasps sounded around us, lips touching. I stared blankly at Bianca. Later, send me to the hospital first. Vincent, pinned under me and unable to move, let out a weak protest. Bianca snapped out of it and hurriedly pulled her head back, but I clamped my hand on the back of her head. "Ignore him. Let him die." I pressed my lips forward, wanting to continue, but Bianca stopped me. "Mason, that's enough." At the hospital, Vincent was wheeled off for exams while Bianca stayed with me to treat the wounds on my hand. In the exam room, Bianca looked at my swollen, skinned knuckles with heartache. "How hard did you hit him? Your fist is swollen. Good thing Vincent has thick fat. Otherwise he'd be in the first furnace at the crematorium tomorrow." "Did he hurt you?" I asked while getting disinfected. Bianca shook her head. "No, you came just in time. That son of AB***, we really should have just finished him off last time." Bianca sighed. "I didn't expect to run into him, or that he'd be bold enough to mess around in public. This Vincent Young holds significant meaning for both Bianca and me. We both hate his guts. Technically speaking, Bianca's company wasn't bankrupt because of me, but I wasn't innocent either. Back then, under my sugar-coated lies, Bianca accidentally fell for me, contrary to her somewhat cold appearance. In a relationship, Bianca is incredibly pure. When she likes someone, she does everything she can to be good to them. That's when I learned I didn't have to bend down to tie my own shoelaces. I didn't have to cut my own steak. And I didn't need to bring a wallet when shopping. Bianca smashed massive amounts of love right into my face. Under that kind of offensive, it seemed inevitable that I would fall for her too. That's right. I accidentally fell in love too. But what do you do when you have a guilty conscience? I started lying to myself. Corporate saboteur? No such thing. I'm just a lowly janitor who wooed his beautiful boss. After successfully fooling myself, I regained my composure and dated Bianca with peace of mind. Because I also did my best to help her, hoping to restore her company. Everything seemed to be heading in a good direction. But the disaster happened then. That day, Bianca had a business dinner. It was crucial. The client was an influential figure in their field. If they could collaborate, the company's current difficulties would be solved. Considering it looked bad for Bianca to go alone, I volunteered to act as her secretary and went with her. But who could have guessed? The other company's CEO, Vincent Young, had designs on Bianca. He made dirty jokes at the table and tried to get handsy with her. So, I flipped the table. 4 or 5 of Vincent's guys rushed up to hit Bianca. But I took them all down solo. It was chaos. The result was predictable. The deal blew up. Vincent put the word out. Anyone who dared to work with Bianca was an enemy of Vincent Young. Just like that, within a week, Bianca's company closed down. Although Bianca never blamed me, I still felt I couldn't escape responsibility. If I hadn't messed up her company from the start, she wouldn't have been desperate enough to seek a partnership with Vincent. If I hadn't gone with her, she wouldn't have offended Vincent to the point where no one in the industry dared to work with her. If I hadn't agreed to the chairman's request to be a mole, Bianca would still be that dignified, glamorous. So, with her ability, she would have become a new industry elite in a few years. When a con artist grows a conscience, he falls into endless torment and self-blame. Delayed guilt washed over me, making it hard to face Bianca. So, I chose to be a coward. I blocked all of Bianca's contact info, disappeared from her world, ended everything that had gone off track, and went back to being Mason, the strategy department employee. But who knew I wasn't the only one with a secret identity? We reunited just days later, and Bianca knew the whole truth. Damn it. I'm so stressed. After treating the wound, Bianca and I left the exam room. It was late at night, and the corridor was silent. After walking a bit, Bianca suddenly stopped and turned around with a sour face. Nothing to say? I was actually trying to figure out how to explain Bianca kissing me to my colleagues tomorrow. Her sudden voice startled me. I touched my nose and whispered, "I'm sorry." That "I'm sorry" had circled in my mouth countless times, but I swallowed it every time. Now that I said it, I realized it wasn't that hard. So, I looked up into Bianca's eyes, my tone becoming firm. "Bianca, I'm sorry. I apologize for all the wrong things I've done. Whether you forgive me or not doesn't matter. I can accept all your revenge until you feel even." Silence followed. Bianca pressed her lips together tight, frowning at me. I was anxious, wanting to flee under her intimidating pressure, but I held my ground. After a long while, Bianca finally parted her lips. "Do you know which of your mistakes makes me the angriest? Ruining my company and forcing me to come back and inherit the family business." No, it was disappearing without a word. I choked up and lowered my head guiltily. That's mainly, I felt so guilty at the time. "If I hadn't gone to the dinner with you." Then, Bianca interrupted me. "Mason, do you still not get the situation? You weren't the one at fault for that. Vincent Young was. He has a character problem. His character didn't become a problem because you went. He's just a piece of trash. With an asshole like him, even if I had reached a deal, I would have definitely clashed with him eventually. So, technically, you helped me. You let me see his true colors early, saving me from investing more time and energy only to end up with the same result. To pull me out of my spiral of guilt." Bianca spoke with extreme seriousness. I listened, but also suddenly enlightened. Yeah. Bianca is right. Vincent is trash. With scum like him, a partnership would have been endless trouble. But at least he got his lesson. I beat him up pretty bad last time, and this time he has multiple fractures, a moderate concussion, and lost several teeth. He won't be getting out of bed for 3 to 5 months. Even more satisfying, he wanted to hold me responsible, but the incident started because he tried to assault Bianca. The KTV surveillance is there. If he blows this up, he won't get off easy either. So he can only swallow his broken teeth and choose to settle quietly. Thinking this through, my mood brightened instantly. I showed my first sincere smile in days. I reached out and tugged Bianca's sleeve, softening my voice. Alright. Don't be mad. I was wrong. I won't disappear suddenly ever again. Forgive me. Bianca glanced at my hand on her sleeve. Her tense face softened slightly. But she spoke coldly. Don't try that. I haven't finished the business talk. Having been with Bianca for months, her subtle expression changes didn't escape my eyes. Instead of retreating, I took a step forward and looked up into her eyes. Go ahead. I'm listening. Bianca looked down at me, her gaze darkening. Just then, I licked my dry lips, the tip of my red tongue flashing by. Bianca hurriedly looked away, clearing her throat to cover it up. She said seriously, my dad sent you to sabotage my company. I won't pursue that. But you told me so many lies and sweet-talked me into circles. Such a huge fraud case. Can we really just let it go? If she wants to bring that up, I have something to say. Bianca, I like you. Bianca's wandering gaze suddenly snapped back to me. I continued on my own. I admit I lied to you for other purposes at the start, but without realizing it, I really fell for you. Bianca, you should know this. Even if my scamming skills were top tier and my acting perfect, with your IQ, I could fool you for a while, but eventually, I would have shown a flaw. Why didn't you realize I was lying for so long? There's only one possibility. You also, she finally couldn't hold back anymore. Fine. Dense kisses rained down. Like she was plundering my breath, fierce and urgent. I froze for a second. Then my eyes crinkled in a smile. I put my hands on her shoulders and responded enthusiastically. The quiet, secluded corridor was occupied by the sound of our mingled breathing. After who knows how long, the kiss ended. Bianca pressed her forehead against mine. Our gazes tangled in the air. I slowly caught my breath and whispered, forgive me. Bianca gave a soft, I thought she would need to consider it more, or take the chance to make demands or seek some benefits before relenting. She actually didn't say anything. Just trusted me again that easily. Bianca saw right through me. Think I forgave you too easily? I nodded awkwardly. Bianca sighed. I think so too, but after 2 run-ins with Vincent Young, I feel it's safer to keep you right under my nose where I can see you. I looked at the woman before me, genuinely moved. Bianca is bossy and a little stubborn. But when she likes someone, she goes all in, holding nothing back. She spoils them, yields to them, and never lets them suffer. During those few days apart, I felt like I had lost the love of the entire world. But finally, it was back. I was just getting all sentimental when Bianca suddenly cut me off. Don't get all weepy just yet. I still have a few demands. I agreed immediately. Bianca smiled with satisfaction and held up 4 fingers, folding one down for each demand. 1, no more lying to me. I nodded. 2, don't ever let me be unable to find you. I nodded again. 3, love me wholeheartedly. I nodded again. But after those 3, Bianca still had 1 finger up. So I asked her, what's the 4th? Bianca gave a meaningful smile, and whispered a sentence in my ear that only we could hear. I instantly turned red from my face to my neck. That dirty-minded pervert. I knew it. How could she forgive me so easily? Look at that. She made demands and secured some benefits. My touching emotional moment was a total waste. Spill it. What's going on with you and Director White? The next day, the moment I stepped into the strategy department, Frank and a few male colleagues dragged me back to my cubicle for an interrogation. It was too late last night for them to follow us to the hospital, but they had front row seats to the scene where Bianca grabbed me, red-eyed and violent, and planted a kiss on me. Plus, they heard I beat up Vincent Young because of her. The problem was, in their minds, Bianca and I had only known each other for 1 day. How did we get to that base so fast? Under their suspicious gazes, I stared at a corner of the floor without saying a word. After a long while, just as their patience was running out, I finally looked up and dropped a bombshell. Director White and I are together. Everyone froze. Say what? I scratched my head sheepishly. I know it sounds ridiculous, but it's true. Frank was the first to react. But, didn't you just meet Director White yesterday, after making up with Bianca? I had thought this through carefully. Bianca and I are in the same department, seeing each other every day. Even if we tried to hide it, we'd inevitably slip up in front of colleagues. Says, with Bianca's personality, she probably wouldn't bother hiding it, so it was better to just tell them the truth. Actually, my business trip wasn't to West Africa. I briefly summarized what happened between Bianca and me. Of course, I omitted what needed omitting and embellished what needed embellishing. After listening, my colleagues took a good long while to process this reality. So, that scumbag ex who dumped Director White was you. Although I really didn't want to admit it, I nodded. Holy *T. Damn. Their faces went through a kaleidoscope of expressions before they all gave me a thumbs up. They spat out 2 words, absolute legend. Since it was work hours, after a few more casual sentences, everyone went back to doing whatever they were supposed to do. Looking perfectly normal. I couldn't help but marvel. It's good to be simple-minded. Their ability to accept things is ridiculously fast. I made a cup of coffee and carried it into the director's office. The woman behind the desk looked up at the sound. Did you tell them? Told them. Bianca put down the file in her hand, patted her thigh, and said, come here. The glass in the director's office is one way. So there was no need to worry about people outside seeing in. Walking over, straddling her lap, and wrapping my arms around her neck. Before her lips could touch mine, I asked a question that had been hovering in my mind for a long time. Bianca, do you still want to do a startup? Bianca comes from an impressive background. Her father is the chairman of a listed group. From birth, she was at a height many ordinary people couldn't reach in a lifetime. Others would be busy showing off, but Bianca never mentions it to anyone. She's independent. She wants to earn her status through her own efforts, rather than being referred to as the white family heiress, like some accessory. Hearing this, Bianca thought for 2 seconds and gave a definite answer. But not right now. I looked at her in confusion, and she explained. My dad went through so much trouble to get me here. If I don't pay him back a little, who knows what dirty tricks he'll pull next. Black lines slid down my forehead. These 2, father and daughter, really are something else. Are you with me? Bianca pinched my waist. Good Lord, it's like when Coke and Pepsi go to war, and RC Cola is the one that gets wiped out. Bianca fighting her dad was going to tire me to death. I nodded helplessly. Your dad's company is massive and has deep roots. It might not be easy to take it down, but I can try my best. Bianca laughed, not knowing whether to be amused or annoyed. Take it down? He's my dad. I just want to scare him and cause a little trouble. Oh. So, what's your plan? The corners of the woman's mouth curled up in a sly arc, and she whispered her scheme to me. Consequently, colleagues working outside could occasionally hear uncontrollable, villainous laughter coming from the director's office. End of main story. Bonus scene. One day, a few months later, Bianca and I submitted our resignation letters together. The chairman instantly understood everything, with a heartbroken expression, beating his chest and stomping his feet. He asked me, I sent you to wreck my daughter's company? Not my company, and why did you have to wreck my daughter too? I scratched my head in embarrassment and gave a goofy smile. I was just on a roll. Hey, chairman, why did you faint? Then,